So I bet you're both wondering why I gathered you here today.
I'm actually not.
No?
No.
Okay, go ahead and tell me, because I forgot.
We're re-recording the podcast episode.
Yes. It's brought to my attention that by one very special listener that when you listen to our first draft, the audio is weird, just randomly cuts off at points, and that's my fault. My phone does this funny, silly little thing with the security where if you leave an app, it cuts off the permissions, so like it doesn't record you in the background, which is you think, okay, yeah, you're a smartphone, yeah, that would be a cool thing to do, except I wanted this to record me. I turned it on specifically so it will record me, and I've been too lazy to go into the settings and change it. So anything that uses my microphone.
You hadn't done that?
I still haven't done it. That's why I usually use Discord on my laptop, because anytime I leave Discord on my phone, my voice just disappears.
Why haven't you done it?
Yeah, that requires like going into the settings and like looking for said setting and it's a whole thing. So we're just gonna go ahead and re-record.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to let you guys know, though, preface, I'm used to doing the podcast on my own. So I've gotten pretty good at filling up the empty space with more of my own words. But I have you guys as guests on the show because you have beautiful, unique little brains. And, people want to hear what you have to say, even if people is just me. So I'm gonna try, because I've done a couple of these before with guests, and I feel like just listening back that I'm a pretty strong force on there, and I want to feature voices instead of just like having people sitting there listening to what I'm saying. So I'm not gonna talk so much. I'm still gonna pose the questions I have and such and such, but I'm going to leave space for you guys to actually say things. And I also think having cameras on will help with that as well. Being able to see each other and such. Cool. You both turned your cameras off. It's fun.
I don't know, man. It's just a conversation. That's how I view it. So, mostly.
All right.
Oh?
Hello and good existence to all the listeners on the earth and beyond. This is the Spectre of Anti-Blackness. I'm the host of this show. I have been since the first episode. I probably will be until the last, but I can't tell the future. What I can tell you, though, is that this is a new episode, and we've got two guest hosts here. Would you guys like to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, hello, I'm me.
Hello, you.
Y'all? Hi. I'm Madison.
Hi, Madison.
Hi, Madison.
So I know on our first recording, you wanted to say your name and you did, but you didn't this time.
I don't feel like it today.
No? Not feeling it today?
No.
See,
I'm really not.
I kind of got inspired by you guys saying your names last time, and kind of wanted to finally say mine.
Well, you can say yours.
Well, it doesn't. It feels less like an act of solidarity now, and more just like. Like, hey, we're all saying our names. Now, you know.
Sorry, that's just not lining up.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
We do have another episode planned. Uh,
Yeah.
it's loading. There's someone hasn't finished their homework yet, but it's fine. You know, these things happen as they will. They take their time. Anyway, today we're talking about a film, and that film is called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I know that film.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Good that I'm here.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Because at first I was like, I'm nervous. They don't know what this film is. Like, I'm just going to be talking to two people who don't know anything about this, but it's good that you do know.
I know, yeah. Do you know Madison?
Never seen it.
Well, 50-50.
That's
know.
okay.
I'll just pretend that I have.
That,
Yeah,
yay.
so you can still add something. You can add this other perspective.
of someone who doesn't even know what Spider-Man is.
Never heard of a Spider-Man. How can you be a spider and a man?
It's, you know, that's
a question.
They really got into that in this movie of like, you know, how is that possible? They really dug down into the meaning of that. Anyway, initial thoughts, guys, on this movie Across the Spider-Verse.
It was nice.
Yeah, I loved it. I really did.
So we have a few different perspectives here. Madison, you've seen the movie once?
Yes. I've been meaning to see it a second time. Just like the plans always fall through. It's okay though.
You're a busy bee. I get it. That was 2 weeks ago?
I saw it the same day you saw it the first time.
I wish that gave me more information. I wish that was like, oh yeah, I know when that is.
Approximately 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
I saw it maybe like 3
I think we saw it the day it came out. I think.
We probably did.
Did we?
Or the day after, but
one of those. It was.
Yeah,
it was like right there. Madison, can you tell us about your viewing experience?
In terms of how I felt about the movie, or like the environment of watching the movie?
Yeah, just tell me. Tell us what it was like. What kind of did you see, like in standard or 3D or 4D or IMAX? You know, just give us like a quick overlay of your experience with the movie without yet getting into your thoughts on what happens in it.
I saw it in a standard theater, like y'all said, pretty soon after it was released, and that's because IMAX was not available at that time. It was, just a standard movie watching experience. It wasn't crowded in there. There was not a lot of audience reaction to be had, except for like maybe 2 or 3 moments. So that kind of sucked, but it was a good viewing experience.
Okay. Unnamed human number 2.
Yeah. Right. So the first time I've seen it twice.
Okay.
I saw it for the second time today, like 2 hours ago.
Fresh.
So the first time was okay. It was weird. The movie theater I went to, like the audio file, it was messed up.
I remember you saying that.
There was like a news article about it a few days later. So like the first 30 minutes of audio was just like, oh, this isn't great. But then it got better, and then like in terms of audience enthusiasm, also pretty low, um, which is kind of weird, but that seems to be like a running theme for my movie viewing experiences anyway, so it's fine.
If I may,
The second,
just before you get to the second viewing, I believe you also said something like in the first viewing there's something wrong with the visuals as well. It wasn't just the audio.
so is there a 3D version of it?
I'm sure there is.
I don't know. Because I thought it just looked like really fucked up in the eyes, like for the eyes. But again, like the movie itself has like,
Stylistic.
at least in like, yeah, at least in like Miles World specifically, like there is kind of this like 3D looking
The slight
whatever
red blue
around
overlay.
edges.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. Like the difference now that I've seen it a second time properly, it really wasn't like it still was like hurting my eyes that first viewing, but um, it was okay. It was alright.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've seen the movie now thrice. Kinda. I saw it the first time. Madison has let us know it was exactly a month ago. This movie came out. I didn't. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yes.
I saw it day one in IMAX. That was amazing. I love IMAX. Now, and I've heard that not all IMAX theaters are built the same. Some are kind of janky and, you know, it says it's IMAX, but it's not really. I think this was like a real IMAX theater. It was a good watch. Good noise. Good big screen. Had good seats. There was a lot of audience reaction in mine, which it's funny how you say in yours there never is because there always is in mine. But
people just don't give a fuck in my city. Like I'm just like I'm guess I'm here. It's fine.
I think there's something to that. Like I think there may be like a sort of like building off of the energy in the room, you know? Because I like to bring that energy of like, you know, I know you're supposed to be quiet in these places, but you know, we're human. Let's like fucking.
Yeah, no, I get into it. And
You feel like you get into it?
I feel like I do.
I like I say things out loud. Like I'm like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I saw it the first time and it was great. And I was like, I need to talk about this. I want to talk about it. And then I saw it a second time in standard. Same day you saw it the first time. That time I didn't finish it all the way through because I had to leave. Not because I wasn't like interested, but like I had to leave and catch the bus home. I didn't want to be late to get back because we had to do the recording. So I was like, okay, this is a good point to walk out once. I think once he got sent home. And I was like, all right, I know what happens after this. I'm just bounce. And then I've just seen the beginning of it a third time.
First, like 25 minutes.
Yeah, I saw up until he enters the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
On a janky bootleg recording from a phone. So the second time I went, there was only one other person in the audience, like 5 or so rows back from me. So no audience that time, which I feel like that dichotomy between full audience first day and slim pickings a week or so after is important because you get different views of the film.
Okay.
I talked about this in our first recording of how it's easy to get swept up in the excitement of a movie just as a viewer, just, you know, without having a critical eye, just coming to see it in the theater. And I went to go see The Rise of Skywalker and came out thinking like, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. But of course,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, so I'd like to ask you before we get into the nitty gritty. Um, how did it feel on the second viewing? Did you notice the length anymore? How did it
I
drag?
did.
Was the pacing off? Yeah.
I mean, so the first time I watched it, I noticed the like. Again, it was also because the audio was off, but that first 30 minutes, like I felt that first 30 minutes
Mm.
anyways the first time. This time I felt it, I guess, for different reasons. Because it really is like the first 30 is just like establishing where everyone's at, um, or them two are at. Yeah, definitely not as like the first time, like different scenes and shit. My heart was like racing and shit. I was all excited, and I didn't feel that necessarily. Um, Still, like some parts I did, but not as intensely for sure as the first time. Uh, yeah, less exciting, which makes sense. Um, Timing was still felt, uh, but I still think like the length of it is fine. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So I watched it the first time, and I was completely engrossed in the movie. Um, it felt very similar to me um, to Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War. Um, I was less engrossed in that one. I was still enjoying it. It's a movie. It's good. Um, but the similar thing being the ending, where I'm kind of like, hold on, wait, it's over? I'm like, wait, what time is it? What? They're done? They're not gonna finish this here? Um, yeah. So I went back and watched it the second time. Um, the beginning of it, I still really, really enjoy, and even though it's like establishing or whatever, I don't care. It's like that's.
Yeah, no,
I do feel
it
like it.
deserves to be there.
Yeah, it does. I feel like it needs to be there as well. Um, it's the third act, which I'm kind of like. It's like switching from okay, so they're going after him. She's resolving the thing with her dad. He's at home, his alternate home with his alternate mom, and that part of it, like with the suspense gone, it's kind of like that's I think where I feel the length the most. I'm like, okay, I can. I think
Really?
that's why I walked out because I was kind of like, I know what's gonna happen. I don't really need to see this. Like, it feels a little dragged. Um, um, but the one thing that I did enjoy, and you can also speak to this, um, the jokes still land even in an empty theater.
Mhm.
There's no like awkward pauses like there was in No Way Home. Uh, waiting for everyone to to clap as the cameo guy comes out. Everything's integrated
Yeah.
very nice. It feels like a movie that's not only built for like the theater viewing but also for at home viewing. So that's
Okay. I love the third act.
really.
Yeah. Even the second time, it just so I was like, um, yeah, third act is I don't want to say my favorite, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, I would say I like right when he hops into the spider. Like I really like the first act,
Mm-hmm.
and then hopping into the Spider Verse. That's when we get introduced to Hobie, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably my favorite part of the movie up until he goes back home or to alternate home or whatever. Um, Madison, do you have anything to add?
What's your favorite part?
Um, Great question. I really do enjoy that entire chase sequence that's going on after Miguel blows up at Miles. It's fun seeing how much thought they put into like the way their Spider HQ was made and all the Spider-Mans that were in it. There was something else. I think the reason that I like it so much is that I really just like Miguel O'Hara.
He's cool. He's great.
Very cool.
He's he's interesting, you know.
When he's all hunched over after like ravenously hunting Miles, like ready to rip his throat out or whatever. Like that was cool.
Very menacing. Yeah, he's clawing. He was about to eat that guy. Yeah, the vulture is about to eat his face. What was that about?
He's cool. He's cool as fuck.
And also, he like injects himself with something once we get to his world. I don't like.
Yeah.
There's something going on there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I assume they'll address that.
Maybe if we were comic book readers, we'd have more info.
Oh,
but
maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
One more thing I'd like to address before we get into it, which, you know, we're still not in it, right? So when we first did the recording, we were fresh out of the viewings, more or less. But also there wasn't a lot of information about it online. I don't know about you guys, but I have since then seen a lot of other people's opinions on the piece. Like Savage Books has a video. There's stuff out there. People have been talking about it. There's articles. I saw this one article that was like, it's like, 10 things you missed in Across the Spider-Verse. And I was like, yep, I saw that. No, I saw that. No, I noticed that. That was... So but
those articles weren't made for you.
Yeah, I see. I see that. But yeah, is there anything you guys would like to talk about that maybe wasn't a part of like your own analysis, your own experience of the movie, but you kind of maybe got from elsewhere that you'd like to bring up or talk about?
I think when it came out that there were multiple like dialogue versions of the movie, that was possibly the least surprising and most surprising information I could have learned about it.
Yeah, I saw that article. But didn't read it. Can you tell us more?
I actually first heard about it. There was a man. He wanted to create a detailed script of the movie based off of his watching the movie over and over again. But he was also compiling information from other people's videos of it and looking at clips online. And when he was cross-comparing them, he was like, wait, this line is not what I remember seeing. And that, around the time that I saw that is when I saw the article that they were like, the creators have confirmed that there are different versions of the movie in theaters. And so I was just like, maybe... Yeah, it's crazy, right? I'm gonna like
that.
ride over to Atlanta and see what's different. Maybe watch it like several times in the theaters around here and see if there's any differences. I thought that was really cool.
Did they say why?
You know, I did not ever get that far. I don't know. Maybe just like
aesthetic
to
purposes.
Lean into the yeah.
Just to add to it, to really like feed into this whole like there's different versions. There are different versions of people of why the hell not?
Right.
I like that.
I know from what I've seen, it's just like dialogue's different, but I wonder how different the dialogue is and what type of nuances change between the different versions of the movie. That is something I would really like to look into.
There's also a lot of like really fun visual gags that I noticed, like very tiny things. Like in the first, or I guess second fight with Spot, when they're about to head down into the Alchemex site. They're one of the construction workers. He's got a bottle of water. Like, there's nothing in there, and then that's when the water tower floods in, and like, just little things like that you don't really notice. I thought that was pretty fun. Wait, did you have anything that you'd like to add from exterior sources?
Me?
Yes, the nameless one.
No.
Okay, great.
I'm not nameless.
Oh.
Anyways.
Okay, well let's get into the movie then. Okay, so let's talk about the meat and bones, the meat and potatoes. Let's get to brass tacks. Movie details. You guys got anything you want to talk about? Themes you noticed, things you liked, things you didn't, characters you enjoyed, characters you didn't, music, art style, anything. Again, I know we've talked about this before, so I'm sorry we got to rehash it. But maybe the extra time is giving you time to think about things that you hadn't before, or, maybe someone else pointed out something to you didn't notice that you'd like to bring up. Anything. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So the art style in Gwen's world is still my fave.
Mm-hmm.
The moment with her dad.
I remember the first time we recorded, we did theorize. We were like, the art style is like crazy. It's like the background and all that. We were like, is it just Gwen's world? So we have confirmed that it is indeed Gwen's world that happens in.
I noticed more this time around, obviously, and the second time the scene with her, the final scene with her dad, I cried. It was so beautiful, so well done. Let me think. I also thought Miguel's world is really cool. This upper level and then this lower city level. I didn't pay much attention to the design of it.
The moon
time.
Train?
Yeah. Sick stuff. Yeah, that was one of my thoughts.
We might get to other ones later.
Yes, later.
I want to backtrack just a little bit. There was something I saw but didn't actually watch. I think it was I think it was your guy, FT Signifier. He maybe did a live stream with someone, and they were wondering if the movie was propaganda.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it either, but I did see.
You guys have thoughts around that?
Let me think.
I'm very torn about that.
Mm.
I want to say that it's not propaganda, or at least in a way that someone could argue that it's propaganda, but I don't know if that's because I have genuine reasons for it, or I just like the movie too much to say that it is.
Right, yeah.
That's fair.
When I initially saw it and I heard their whole good cop spiel, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sit through the rest of this, considering how it was. And then near the end, when Gwen had that conversation with her dad, and then he was like, okay, the best way for me to be what I need to be is to quit the force, I was like, okay, see, that is a resolve right there. But I don't know if that completely absolves it of the whole propaganda thing.
I don't think it's anti-cop. Not at all. Because even him quitting, he didn't he wanted to be a cop. He had this whole thing. He did it for Gwen, and I feel I was wondering if Miles's dad would do the same in the next movie.
You had that same thought.
Yeah. But again, that wouldn't be because he's like against being a cop now. It's just like, this is my kid.
I've had this issue with Miles Morales since the game, which I talk about in that podcast episode. I don't know who writes Miles Morales for the comics, but they give him a pretty interesting background. You know, he's got the Puerto Rican mother, the black father, who is a police officer. And he was made relatively recently. I'm not going to look it up because, you know. But in the 2000s, I think. Like, he's a relative. Please do. If you want to, you can look it up. So during a time... 2011. Yeah, see, that's fairly recent. We're not exactly at defund the police and ACAB yet, but I'm pretty sure Trayvon Martin's dead by this point. Or maybe that's 2012.
2012.
Anyway, tensions are still high at this point, right? So he brings a unique perspective to it. And in at least the story that I know, like, I'm going to specifically talk about the game because that's the media I know. His father's killed, which again is a thing I think is supposed to happen or happens often in his stories. And then they present this moment in the games. So here's how Spider-Man goes, right? He's a vigilante. And in most superhero stories, the cops don't like vigilantes. You work outside the law. Freaking Batman, you know. So it's cool that, like, Miles kind of grows up maybe feeling favorably about the police because his father is a police officer. But then he dons the mask and he sees this other view of the police, especially with his dad gone, and especially him being black kid, you know, seeing this kind of different view of the police, I thought would be very interesting. But the the game doesn't give us any of that. The main antagonists of the game are these faceless, fake, Raycon, whatever they're called, supervillain cops. And in this story, you know, it's kind of the same. He doesn't work with the cops, but they're pretty friendly to him.
Right.
So I agree with you that it's not exactly like anti-cop, but I don't know if I'd call it propaganda either. I don't know. But this is a good segue into what you mentioned earlier about his dad, because like we talked about this in the first one. Essentially what they're saying has to happen is Officer Morales has to die, or the more specifically, the captain of the police whatever has to die. And I theorized, I said, what if he quits the force? Because, yeah, you had something you would say?
I don't, but, okay, so I was thinking that, but I also, because the cakes, right?
Yes, the cakes.
I feel like he's gonna be able to have 2 cakes. I think there's gonna be 2. And I don't know exactly what those cakes are, but I don't think, like, I don't know. That resolution already happened with Gwen's dad.
Yes.
Right. I don't feel like they would do a repeat. Even though they are very similar, and that's been like a running thing in their relationship also.
Right.
But I think his whole thing is like he's able to find a way, or he's going to find a way.
But it was eerily curious how similar both of their ideals are around their kids, right? They're both like, you know, I got into this cop business for my kid. You know, they're the reason I do all of what I do. kind of sort of thing.
Mhm.
I feel like that wasn't put in there for no reason. Maybe it's just a red herring. Like,
Mhm.
maybe that's ultimately not gonna factor in. Um, and also on the on the same subject, do you think he knows that he's Spider-Man?
So his voice like barely changes, like he's around his dad. So I find it really hard to believe that he doesn't. But like when his dad was talking to him while he was Spider-Man, I don't know, he hit it pretty well. That he, if he does know, he hit it very well, in my
I
opinion.
feel like he has a sneaking suspicion.
Sure, I wouldn't put it past him.
I feel like by the end of the movie he's probably put two and two together. I'm not sure, but like there's just a couple of little things I noticed. Like they both kind of square up the same way when Spot falls. I don't-
That's cute.
you know, I,
That's cute.
it probably registers to him like, okay, my son runs, scrambles out of this meeting, the same time the villain's here, same time Spider-Man
Mhm.
shows up. Spider-Man seems very invested in how I'm raising my kid for some reason. You know,
Also, my son is like doing this secret shit, and I know he's not just hanging out with people. Like he's
right.
doing something. Yeah.
I feel like he's probably gonna figure it out in the next one. Like I feel like I don't know when it'll happen, and it might not. But I feel like at some point Miles might be like, "I'm Spider-Man," and his dad be like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So another thing I'd like to bring up is the music.
Okay.
I think it's amazing. I just like put on this. I put on the soundtrack when I'm at work.
Ah.
Not like not the Metro Boomin presents Across the Spider Verse. Like no. The score for the movie.
Yeah.
I listen to that. It's amazing.
It is really good. Um. Yeah, I think like there wasn't a single scene where the music felt out of place or like disjointed or anything like that. Like every piece fits.
Yeah. I really like Gwen's leitmotif. You hear it a lot in her world, especially when she's fighting against Vulture. Like,
Yeah.
it's got like this real like kind of ballet balance kind of feel
Sure.
to it. It's very good. All the music is excellent. Um,
Whatever that one is at the I know it's more than just at the end, but I can't remember which scenes. Um, but it's like the suspenseful, spooky when
like the
Miles meets
Prowler.
Miles. The prow. I don't know that so good.
I'd have to go back and see, but I really like the use of like the synths and like it feels very like experimental, and
Mm.
yeah, I enjoyed it all the way through. They really had such a departure from the first movie in terms of that, and also in terms of animation. But I want to hear from Madison first before we move on to animation.
Music was cool.
All
Yeah.
right, nice. Um, Animation. Um, I feel like in the first movie they had the different kind of animation styles, um, but it was I don't want to say gimmicky, but it wasn't quite used to the same level it was in this movie.
Way more change.
Yeah, it was like everywhere.
Way more
Like
change.
in this one, it's like worlds and like the way characters are fitted into scenes, and it's like everyone has their own different animation
Yeah.
style. And the vulture, like that was insane. Like everything about it was very like just pushing the limits of animation. Um,
For sure.
but unfortunately, uh, that brings up another thing that I learned after the first recording.
Mm.
They're working these goddamn animators to the bone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Well, I
saw.
can't imagine. I can't imagine working on this movie. Like knowing how I know animators have to work.
Yeah,
Oof.
this movie, any fucking AAA video game, I need to stay far
Yeah.
away. Um,
Oof.
but yeah, I was very upset when the movie first came out because I was like, how dare they? I don't care that they say the movie's coming out next March. I need the end to the story. And you were like, it's fine. It's coming out next March. There's no problem. But then one of the animators was like, guys, there's no fucking way this movie's coming out next March. We haven't started on anything. It's
What?
They said all they have
What?
is the story from when they decided to split the movie in two. They haven't done anything. Like they finished on the first one, then they're like, "Oh fuck, there's a second one," and they haven't started. They have the story, and that's it. Apparently,
Oh,
That's insane.
that is so messed up that they would put March out there knowing damn fucking well.
now,
That's
okay.
insane.
So we don't know the full story. You know, we're hearing from one guy who really knows. You know, it reminds me of the Disco Elysium thing. Like, there's probably a lot to this. It's probably very complex. But I do from the article that I read, they did take off the release date for the part 2 on the official page.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you know, they might
I'm
be.
fine with that, honestly.
Yeah, like I want it to be good. I know I want
I
it
want it
out
to
as
be
soon as
good.
possible, but like I'd rather it be good, and I'd rather the animators be paid well and working in healthy conditions.
Right. Yeah.
But aside from that, dude, this movie's incredible. Oh my god, it looks so freaking good.
That's so good.
Eye candy to the fucking max. It's just so beautiful to look at every turn. Everywhere you look.
Literally everywhere. Like there is no like I as I was watching the second time, I was looking,
Elsewhere.
elsewhere. Yeah, besides just like what's happening in the middle or with the characters, and it's just like it's so well done. It's so well done. Ugh.
All right. I did ask this the first time. I did forget your answers. Favorite characters?
So I think first time I said I really like I don't remember her name again.
You might have said
But
Miles.
I really like Miles. I really like the girl who's like in her room. But
Oh, yeah,
she's like a
yeah.
hologram girl.
Spider Bite. Yes, thank you, Madison.
Spider Bite. And then the first time I had forgotten about Hobie. But Hobie is so fucking good. I love Hobie.
Yeah. Let's talk about Hobie.
Let's talk about him.
By the way, it's very funny because Madison, you should probably tell this story because it's your story about Hobie and my name. I don't want to tell it for you.
Okay.
Oh, we can't hear you. Try again.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Before I tell the story, I wanted to answer the question because, like I said, I really love Miguel O'Hara, and also Hobie. Anyway, the story is I was at a movie theater with my friend, and we were watching the movie. Gwen's talking about, oh, you, my friend, Hobie, this, that. But I heard it as Obi, and me and my friend just kind of looked at each other like, wait, what?
That is funny.
Yeah, it's great. That's my name podcast. It's Obi.
Is it?
You know this. You know. OB. OBB for the young folks. Anyway. Yeah. Hobie's also my favorite. And he's definitely like when it first began, I was a little suspicious of him. You know, I was like, I don't know, buddy. It's because it kind of seemed like they were setting him up to foil Miles in this way. Um,
Hmm.
but now that I think about it, like it's almost
I didn't feel
done.
that at all.
It's done perfectly. I think because I'm watching it like from the perspective of Miles, so I know that like he's got this thing for Gwen, and like he hears about this other guy, and she's like staying over and stuff, and it's like, oh, what the fuck, like let's. And then he comes out and he's like so fucking cool, and you're like, okay, so the fucking like
Who the
competition
fuck
or
are
whatever.
you?
Yeah, who's this fucking guy? Like, he's got this whole Spider Punk intro. You're like, okay, this is kind of pretentious. Like, is he really about that life? So it's almost like I'm right there with Miles, which is kind of cool. Um, it's not until later where you're like, oh no, damn, he's the realest fucking guy there. Like, I
So
love this dude.
fucking random.
Yeah, he's something that I noticed. So I really like Kobe. When I watched it the first time, I then later on I went to go watch like clips online, and I noticed in his like little intro thing he says, "I hate the AM and I hate the PM." The AM he's talking about the morning, but then the PM he's talking about the Prime Minister of the UK. Yeah.
That's it. Love that. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And how, he really brings this important view of what it means to be punk. Because I've been saying for years, not vocally, I haven't been very vocal about it, but I think being black is just inherently a punk existence. Because, like, just
Sure.
what
Yeah.
it means to be punk and being black, and it's just, like, yeah, it's definitely there. And I don't really know much about, like the British, the UK culture, and that sort of thing. But I feel like he does it justice. And I've been kind of on an anarchy kick ever since. Like, I feel like he brings a really good, important view to anarchy where it's not just like I want to watch everything burn because like I'm hateful. It's
Right.
like no, the
It's
state
just like
wasn't
actual anarchy. Like he's just ungovernable, but like he's a good person.
right.
But you can't tell him what to do. Like
Right.
he knows what the fuck he's gonna do.
The state is inherently oppressive.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta work against it at any time you can. He knows from the get
Yeah.
that he's like, bro, you're not gonna have a good time here. I know you want to be here, but you don't know what you're signing up for. Like, he's coaching the whole time. He's making the watch, which is really cool. Even tells him to make his own watch as he's making a watch. And it's crazy, because, again, I'm at the point of view of Miles watching it the first time. I'm like, he's just fucking going around here, like, fucking with their shit, just, like, breaking things. Like, why is he doing? Like, I was more on board at that point, but I was still like, he's just an asshole. But it wasn't until the hindsight, I'm like, damn. Like, no, he's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also, like his animation style, so fucking cool.
Supreme. Freaking
Perfect.
amazing.
So good. Yeah.
He just like switches colors constantly, like he's just
So cool. So cool.
yeah. So I'm definitely a Hobie Brown fan, Spider Punk all the way. Which is a nice segue into the point I brought up earlier. It's been some time, so maybe you guys have more thoughts about it now. I don't know. Though I think you still haven't seen the other pieces of media I talk about here. The initial thoughts I took down when I watched it the first time, I noticed this reoccurring theme, not only in this movie but in other similar pieces of media, of anarchy, rejecting conformity, and the fall of society or civilization or whatever you want it to be. Very prevalent in this movie, Across the Spider-Verse. It's also prevalent in seasons, I want to say 1 to 3 of Rick and Morty. Also, it's in Loki, season 1. Season 2's not out yet. These are all multiversal type pieces of media, which distill the idea of the multiverse into what this movie calls a canon, what Loki calls a sacred timeline, and what Rick and Morty calls the central finite curve. Which is like, yeah, like there's infinite realities, but there's also like this measurable pocket of realities, forms like the fucking tree or whatever, or the circle, whatever you want it to be, where it's like things fit into this grid, like, oh, Rick's the smartest person, he's got his grandson, or whatever. And so in all of these pieces of media, it's this idea of a unique individual or unique individuals acting outside of set law. Rick and Morty, Spider-Man in his universe, and so they act outside of set law and order, and then they congregate to create the very system that they initially rebelled against. So Spider-Man puts on the mask because he's trying to do justice, right? He acts outside the law because sometimes the law can't really do everything, right?
Uh-huh.
So, I don't know. I guess in a way, all superhero films kind of... I can't really go down that rabbit hole. I don't have enough thoughts around that.
What were you going to say?
They're almost like there's a sense that they're all kind of not fully anti-cop, but I mean they're promoting vigilantism, right? Like,
Okay.
I don't know, but regardless, superheroes act outside of the law, right? But then they go and create their own law. This whole Spider Verse, right?
Right.
Rick, he outright states it in one of the episodes. He says, you guys hated the government, and then you turned around and made a stupid government. They're called the Council of Ricks.
Yeah.
So the one, end quotes, then rejects the new order. And in Rick and Morty, we haven't seen how it ends in Miles Morales yet, but in Rick and Morty, he destroys the system. Loki does the same in season 1. He kills the one who remains.
Spoilers! Bro. Oh my god.
I thought you said... I forgot you said you were going to watch him. I'm sorry. That's not nice. Don't do that.
Yeah.
The new system is destroyed. And, whatever may come of that. So that's the theme that I kind of got from this multiverse movie and other multiverse things. You look like you're in distress over there. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so I think, like, all of that makes sense. What you said makes sense, especially because everything is, what should happen in any given situation is based on what's happening in that person, and there's never going to be, like, one law or one system that's going to fit, which is why it's always going to fall. Because things are constantly changing. People are vastly different. Maybe there's just like this level of unnaturalness to that, trying to build something like that.
That was my same idea. Okay, I had a question after that because I was like, is society inherently destined to fail? Are we supposed to be community-based and no larger? Right? Just get rid of the government.
Right.
And are laws anti-human? you bring up these same exact points here, where you're saying like a law is never going to cater to an individual.
Right. Yeah, I still am very much like this idea of having like like community-based living, small, like relatively small communities, and there being like there has to be like some sense of order or systems. I think like that is kind of like a natural thing. Like humans have systems, but laws or like this strict attachment to these systems or
Strict
ways
adherence.
of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, adherence. Thank you. Is the unnatural part of it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Might be anti-human. Madison, do you have anything to add?
No, that was well worded.
All right. So, a couple more things I'd like to bring up. There are things I noticed in the second watch. There are things I've noticed in the third watch. And then there's some things that, well, yeah, we'll take it from there. There's a lot of like little themes in this. Some themes are very minor. Like there's one that I noticed just on the third watch. I kind of noticed in the second one, noticed it again in the third one. It's not complete. I don't really have the full idea around it. But I noticed, so like in the first fight with Spot, Miles is like, okay, and everything in movies is deliberate, right? Especially in an animated movie. So I don't think these things happen accidentally or are said accidentally.
No.
You sure?
I love Spot. He's
Okay.
fucking cool.
We'll get to Spot. Okay. we'll get to Spot.
I forgot how much I love him, but continue.
He's fun. He's great. He's trying to catch Spot in the corner store, and the owner is like, yeah, if you catch him, man, it's on the house. And so he's fighting Spot, and then he says, kind of like off to the side, maybe just pay me now, as he's leaving the store. And then I also noticed, as they're continuing their fight, these two kids are watching. One is wearing like the OG Spider-Man mask, and the other one's wearing the Miles mask. And he takes his off. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm noticing this as well. I don't know what that's about, but I did notice that.
Lack of faith in Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay, lack of faith. I could see that. That factors into it somehow.
I'm trying to remember, like, if I can think of any. Like,
anything else where that kind of happened?
Yeah.
While you're thinking on that, there was also, I think this may be used to signify like Miles being in his element. ATM machine. He's like, why do people say ATM machine? The M stands for machine, right? And then later makes the same blunder in Mumbatin.
Yeah.
With chai tea. I'm like, oh, okay. And
That's fun.
Spider-Man, I don't fucking know his spider call sign for the Indian one. Or I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say his name either. But Indian Spider-Man, he really harps on him about it. He's like, bro, no, come on. So I think that was maybe used to signify like him being out of his element, opposite of the ATM machine. So did you think of any more examples? If not, I'll just move on to Kate's.
No, I can't really think of any.
Mm-hmm. That might have been it. I don't know.
Because then he's like not really in his world. He's like, then all this other shit.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I noticed the theme of cakes. And a lot of baked goods, but let's just focus on cakes right now.
Okay.
Miles is out fighting Spot, and the guidance counselor lady says to his parents at the meeting, you know, you can either be in here doing this, or you can be out there doing his thing. You can't have your cake and eat it too. The classic saying. He says something along the lines of, you can if you get 2 cakes, right? Or just get another cake or some shit like that. Really driving home this idea that he's going to try and have it all. He's going to try and make both worlds work, which is also the theme in Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's with Tobey Maguire. Is that his name? He loses his powers because he's like trying to do both and decides to stop being Spider-Man. Then he has to come back to it. Whatever. I don't think they're going to do the same thing there. So we see a little later in the movie that he actually gets 2 cakes for his dad's birthday because he's trying to write everything on 1 cake. And she's like, bro, this is too much. Write smaller. Write less. So he gets 2 cakes. Brings them to the party. You know, he's trying to be Spider-Man and trying to be the son. The cakes get messed up. The final part we see, you know, and that's signifying you can't have it all. You're gonna fuck it up. You can't be everywhere at once. Final thing we get on the cakes is when Mom is letting him go. Go out into the Spider-Verse, you know, protect your inner child, protect that little black boy, and come back with 1 good cake. And that's the last we hear of the cakes, I think. That's the last I noticed anyway.
Okay. So as you were saying that, now I'm like second guessing. Now I'm like, maybe the whole lesson is he really can't have 2 cakes. Like maybe, so maybe he won't get like I'm like now second guessing this idea that he's just like gonna be able to get and have everything that he wants. Like maybe he does have to sacrifice something, maybe not the thing. I don't know.
Are y'all looking at me?
Yes.
Hi.
I'm not saying every movie has to end, or like every 2-part movie has to end with like the resolution that we've all been wanting, but I feel like the significance of the movie being split into 2 parts is that maybe in the second part he will have his cake and eat it.
Ooh,
2 cakes.
2 movies, 2 cakes.
2 movies, 2 cakes.
They wrote too long. They had to split it into 2. Oh my God, you just busted this thing wide open. Oh man. He gets his cake and he eats it too. Imagine if they just fucking stop production. It gets stuck in development now.
No.
That would suck. That would really suck.
Don't say that. That's not gonna happen.
No. It'll be fine. It can't.
There's like way too much money in this movie. There's no way.
Absolutely. Which is very shitty, but you know.
Right, but
capitalism. We live in a society.
So when March comes around, I will be re-listening to this episode just to see if it happens.
Hey, yeah. We'll revisit it.
We'll see.
If it happens in March. We'll see. Who knows?
When it happens.
Yes. Other things I noticed in my second watch, kind of concepts that I garnered and wrote myself. I don't think anyone actually said these, but it's what I noticed. Bad things happen and make us who we are. Right? That's like character development in the real life sense, not like developing movie characters. But it's also possible to change your destiny. Then I have two questions. Is there a such thing as mistake? Because Miguel, he calls Miles a mistake, right? He says that spider wasn't supposed to bite you. It wasn't supposed to be in your universe. Your entire fucking existence is a fucking anomaly. He's like roasting my guy right there on the spot. Like, it's very mean. And my question around that is like, that's kind of arrogant, isn't it? Like, how do you know? Like,
Right.
what perspective are you working off of? What basis do you have?
It's purely a perspective. That's all it is. Anything that's like deemed a mistake, it's purely based on a perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So you think there are no mistakes?
Not purely, no.
Can you elaborate
Maybe
on
a
that?
couple.
Maybe a couple? Which ones?
Like,
Oh, go ahead.
like, I can say I made a mistake, but then like, okay, this mistake was, there's always like it said like this mistake led to this and that and this and that, and this was how it was always meant to be, and how can it be a mistake if it was supposed to happen? But in my perspective at the time, my understanding at the time, it was a mistake. So like, yes, that doesn't invalidate my perception of it, but purely a mistake simply was not meant to happen. That doesn't exist.
What
If
was
it
it?
wasn't meant to happen, it wouldn't happen.
What was the turtle's name again, Madison? Uguay?
The what?
Uguay, Master Uguay.
Yeah, Uwe, yeah.
There are no mistakes. I was about to say
You
that's
can't
a
just
great
be talking
movie.
about turtles and expect me to know instantly.
Aren't you the turtle expert? Am I wrong about this?
I am, like, I'm going straight to Wonder Pets and freaking
Wonder
Ninja
Pets
Turtles.
is crazy.
What was the Wonder Pets turtle's name? Did they have names? Why is that the first
I
place your
think they
mind
did.
goes?
Why is that the
I think I was talking about Wonder Pets with someone the other day when we rescued a turtle off the side of the road.
Fair. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there are any mistakes. And, Miguel, he's talking on this, like, world-ending, universe-breaking kind of... Even on a minute scale, I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think it's possible to have a mistake. You can view something as a mistake, sure. But,
Right, yeah.
no, that spider biting him wasn't a mistake. Everything that everyone did is in alignment in some way, somehow. Second question, is it possible to fix society?
I will say it is impossible to fix society 100% for the needs of everybody that exists in it. It is possible to get society to a point where a majority of the population is like being met with all their needs, but like there's always going to be people who need more, and there's always going to like the needs of humanity are always going to evolve to whatever they have at the time.
Gaddafi believed in a true democracy.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it's
never
very...
finished this book.
The Green Book?
Yeah, I never finished it.
Yeah, I feel like I was going to be on a list if I kept reading it. But yeah, I think it's a belief in a lot of leftist countries that a true democracy is achievable. Certainly on a smaller scale than on a larger one, right? We can't get all 300 million Americans together every time we need to make a decision. We're never going to agree on anything. But I think in small scale communities, I think that's maybe how society should evolve. Maybe not like federations instead of states, but like I think the larger states, and especially now with like, doom and gloom on the horizon, getting closer every second, World War imminent, fucking, everything happening that's happening. I feel like maybe some point in our future, we might be facing smaller communities instead of these large scale states. Might be better for us.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that was my last question there. So let's talk about two things. One thing you love, one thing maybe not so much.
Okay.
This is the multiverse and baked goods or pastries. Everything Everywhere All at Once and Our Friend Spot. Don't make that face. There's a lot of parallels here, and I think, again, I only saw this in passing. You see so much stuff on your phone throughout the day, it's kind of crazy. I think some of it was intentional on the part of the creators. The bagels, right? The everything bagel of everything everywhere all at once, signifying depression, nihilism, existentialism, being opposite of the googly eyes, which is like an optimistic nihilism, a kind of absurdist view of like nothingness or whatever. Indifference, quote unquote, of the universe, which in and of itself is kind of a fallacy. But then we have our friend Spot, who kind of views himself as empty, and he says there's a hole inside of him, right? He's got to fill it with more holes. He's also got this white and black motif, like the googly eyes and everything bagel. He's hit with a bagel in his origin story. Gains his power from a black hole machine, which is the black hole is the everything bagel, right? He changes throughout the movie. At first he is white and black, and then once he's reached like his full demonic power, he becomes black and white. That's my notes. I don't really have much to divulge on, but there's something there.
Probably. I don't know. I've only seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, and it was a while ago. So like making those connections a bit difficult. I don't remember a whole lot from the movie.
Gotta watch it again.
So I've been told.
She wasn't as sold on the movie as everyone else was. I think she enjoyed it, but just not quite to the level.
Not on that level. Like, it's a good movie. Don't look at me like that, Madison. It's a good movie. But was I like, wow, my brain, my world is changed and altered and my heart is open and, like, no. I was like, yeah, they get it.
That's so sad.
You watched it wrong.
I don't think I did. I really don't. And I guess we'll see, but like...
You don't have to find it to be the most profound thing in the world, especially if you've already gone through that process yourself. It's just a little heartbreaking to hear, that's all.
I don't know, maybe I'll fall in love with it, but right now, not in love with it. Anyways.
Did you watch it by yourself or did you watch it with other people?
I watched it with someone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Watch it with 5 people.
With high people?
5 people, but high people work too.
5 people? Nah, that's a lot of people.
Watch it with excruciatingly sober people.
Or like the exact opposite.
I will watch it, yeah. I'll see.
Or a combination of the two. I will fill in one of those boxes. I'm not sure which one.
Oh my lord.
Oh my lord.
Do you hear this?
Naughty.
that's all my thoughts on the movie that I can remember. Um, I've had thoughts here and there as the time has gone on. I've seen things online. Thoughts have came and left. I didn't really write much else down except for when I was watching it. Would you guys give it a number score? I've shown you both my score sheet. So if you'd like to grade on that, you can. Or if you'd like to give it your own kind of score, you can. I'm probably going to give it a 10.
Before I do that,
Yes.
I had another thought about Spot.
Go ahead.
So,
I'm sorry. I did my whole explanation, and you didn't even tell us how
Yeah.
much you love Spot. So get into it. Do it.
yeah, let me. I love him. He's very cool. But I feel like they're gonna pay a lot of attention to the connection between Miles and Spot, because like Miles is this anomaly and Spot is like also this anomaly in this other way, and they're like so intrinsically connected, and I just really love that. I love how connected they are.
Spot helps Miles destroy Miguel.
Honestly, I think, yeah, I don't know if that's what's gonna happen, but I do think like he's an inherent part of the solution. Like right now he's a problem, but I think Spot is a part of the solution. Yeah, I fuck with him heavy. I hope he has a peaceful ending.
Now, when you say destroy Miguel in your prediction, do you mean like pew pew, pow pow dead? Or do you mean like
Nope.
he's just not going to be the sheets with him?
I think Miles don't want to kill nobody. He's going to find a way around that. That's a very Spider-Man thing to do. They'll probably destroy his technology that lets him go to other universes. And Spot will send everyone back to their respective places.
And that's it.
Absolving the multiverse forever. Sure, meow and all that cat stuff.
No.
No? Is that not what we're doing?
Anyway,
No. But that was a good try.
so you give it a 10.
I give it a 10. I also give the first one a 10. I give them both a 10. Different 10s. They're not
I don't
comparable.
remember what I gave the first one. I give this one. Do I give this a 10?
Was there anything that was out of place for you?
No, but I feel like if I'm giving a 10, it's like now on the list of favorite movies. And I don't think that's necessarily the case for me. It doesn't have to be, but like in my brain, that's what a 10 is.
Mm-hmm.
So I would maybe give it like a 9.95, which I know is like...
Is a 10.
But no, it's not. In my brain, it's good. It's good though.
You could just say 9.
No, it's more than a 9. It's more than a 9.
What 10?
No, there's decimals for a reason.
You just used a bigger scale then.
There are infinite numbers in between.
995 out of 1,000.
That's too...
Too big.
That's a whole other scale.
It's too big.
That's a whole other scale.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Whatever floats your boat. It's your
Yeah.
scale, it's not mine. I support you 100%.
Thank you.
Rating? I think I would have to watch it again to be able to give it like a solid rating. It's the first time I see a movie, I'm just like, oh, look at all this. This is great. Like, I can't really think about what I think about it until much, much later.
Right.
As for right now, that has been one of the most exciting movies I have seen. So I would say 10-ish, like 10 with the tilde next to it. But maybe later it'll be different. I don't know.
What did you give the first one?
What really sucks is that
You're not about to say
I don't
what...
remember the first one at all.
Okay, I thought you were going to say you haven't watched it. Like
Oh no,
Madison.
I've definitely seen it. I watched it with my family, and I get a little bit of movie amnesia, and I think I've only seen the first Spider-Verse movie once, so I wouldn't be able to remember it.
Okay.
That's fair.
Cool.
Any closing
What do you
remarks,
want to say?
guys?
Not on my part, no. Happy to have been here, though.
So what are you guys up to in terms of like, what are you watching, reading, listening to, gaming? What's going on?
Listening to, I'm so glad that you asked.
What did I get myself into?
Group Therapy has this lovely new album that came out, and from what I've heard, it's really good. It takes me a couple of business weeks to get through albums, or at least you can start listening to albums, because once I start an album, I'll listen to it all the way through. But that's my next move, because I like 3 or 4 of the singles on the album. No, there are 2 singles. 3 or 4 of the songs on the album, but haven't listened to the whole thing. So that's what I'm listening to.
What
or
album?
planning on.
Can you say it again?
Group Theory, you said.
It's the album by Group Therapy. The title is long, and I know what it is, but I don't want
Okay,
to...
this is cool.
That's a really long
Yeah.
title. The title's really long. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to... Why'd they name it that?
I do know what it is. It's, I was mature for my age, but I was still a child.
Sounds like there's some drama in that one.
Well, they're child actors, so I would assume so.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know that about it.
yeah, me either.
Cool.
What?
And you, ma'am?
Playing or I lots of games to get through at any given point.
Which one are you anticipating the most? What's like the highlight?
Sims. A very specific Sims run that I'm very invested in.
Right on.
Reading? Am I reading anything right now? I'm reading Farming While Black. Very informative. Very
Good book.
Highly recommend. Got some good stuff in there if you're black and trying to be a farmer. I recommend hopping on that.
Do you have anything for the white audience to read?
No. Watching. Not really watching anything right now. I don't think. Yeah.
I guess I'll answer each if I can. Am I reading anything right now? Not actively. No, I have a lot of stuff on pause, but not actively. I'm trying to play through all the Dark Souls games. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne. I've already beat Elden Ring essentially twice at this point. But those I want to beat. Sekiro, I don't have that one, but it is on sale, so I might scoop it up. I have a lot of games I got to play through. I got the Nier games. I got... there's a lot. I'm still playing Overwatch because I guess I hate something about, like, myself inside of me. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's okay.
You'll work through.
Praying for you.
Thank you. Pray harder. It hasn't been working. I've been playing this game for, for like 5-6 years. Pray a little
I knew I
harder.
felt something tugging at my spirit.
Yeah. That's me. I need your help. I despise it, but like the core gameplay of Overwatch 2 is still Overwatch. And Overwatch is still fun. Even with all the shit piled on top of it. You can still rummage through and have a good time. Could I spend a lot more time having a lot more fun elsewhere? Probably. But, you know.
Sometimes you just gotta play Overwatch.
Sometimes you gotta.
I feel like if you have to rummage that much to find the fun, it's not that funny. You're just telling yourself that it is.
No, it's pretty fun. Solo queuing is not okay. Let's not get into a whole Overwatch thing. We always do this.
We know about Overwatch. Anyways.
A lot more than I'd like to.
I'm currently watching. I have some things on a watch list. I haven't, in terms of movies, I haven't really got into yet. I'm rewatching Comedy Bang Bang and Community, here and there, just to keep the spirits up. And a lot of YouTube. I'll be on YouTube. Okay, finally, you guys have any plugs?
There's an outlet in the wall next to me.
I have a different sort of plug.
Okay, that might be the kind I'm looking for. Let's hear it.
So I'm gonna plug my Instagram. Since now my Instagram is no longer private. I haven't changed the username to something a bit more easy to give out, so bear with me. It's 139.4.7.15. If y'all feel like following, check it out.
Boop, boop. Nuclear codes activated.
Oh my god.
Just your Insta, nothing else?
Yes, nothing else.
All right. My plugs. I have a podcast, believe it or not. You can come check me out on there. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I haven't heard of it.
Really? No, it's great.
Did you just start?
Do you have like fun people on there?
Never.
The way you said that sounds like a lie.
That's true. I have a YouTube channel. I think the name Obi was taken. I'm either Bimo or Cosmobi or OBB or some form of one of those. Mash them all together until you find me. I only have one video so far, because I like to procrastinate, I guess. There's too many things to do. All right.
I have a lot of things to do.
There are. The final thing. I pray that if you're listening to this right now, like today, like day of release, this is going to be relevant. I pray there are not a lot of loud fireworks in your area. And if you're listening to this in the future, there's just no dogs up barking at night keeping you up. That's still relevant. All right.
I pray that you, whoever's listening, that your sleep is the perfect temperature throughout the entire night. You're not too hot, you're not too cold. It's perfect. It's cold. You know the spot.
Oh yeah.
I wish that for you.
It's crazy. I was about to do an air conditioning specific one, but now I can't. 'Cause I don't want to seem like I'm a copier.
Say what's in your heart. It's okay.
So no, I'm changing it. I pray that you do not have to adjust your pillows midway through your sleep. And that it's always like the perfect height and angle for however you need to sleep.
Look at you guys getting into the sleepy cast feel. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Next
That one's
time,
for me.
what we'll do is like, I'll wake you guys up at like 1 a.m. and be like, all right, we're doing a cast.
I want to do a sleepy cast, but like, I want to do a sleepy cast, but like, there gotta be a lot less judgment for what comes out of my mouth, my energy at that point.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, you've heard.
I've heard.
You've heard.
Yeah.
All right. If you're listening, still, cut it out. We're done. You can
Get out of here.
Yeah, go on with the rest of your day. It's fine. We'll be okay. You don't have to listen to the end. I promise. There's no.
It would be nice though.
There's no like special prize waiting at the end. There's no special message. These are just the credits. It's not a Marvel movie. There's no end credit scene. What? What's?
If you're still listening, the code is cucumber.
No, don't tell them that.